Today is Bella May's 14th birthday, and she is still asleep. But I'm going to make her and I some breakfast. I'm going to make some hash browns, bake some biscuits, fry up some bacon, do some loaded scrambled eggs, and I think I'm going to fry me a sausage patty to go on my biscuit. Then when she wakes up, breakfast will be done, and I'll make her an iced coffee. Fried Bella up some bacon. I've got me a sausage patty frying in that bacon grease. And I've got some scrambled eggs with peppers, onions, and cheese. And our biscuits and hash browns are in the oven. Happy birthday! Bella May, 14. All right, let's make you an iced coffee. Let's put this right here. Are you hungry?
Yes.
So let's start with some ice. Do you drink an iced coffee every day?
Yes.
So we got ice. And let's get our other things out. We'll do halfway with milk. Some caramel macchiato. A couple splashes of that. And then top it off with some espresso. All right, and get that stirred. And then I'll get you your plate of breakfast foods. So we got bacon. You want a hash brown, don't you? You want a biscuit?
No.
You don't want a biscuit? Okay. And your eggs.
This coffee is good.
And there is her birthday breakfast. And then what all are we going to be doing today? We got a lot of things planned, don't we?
Yeah.
Let's see. We're going to eat breakfast. And then when we're done with that, we'll probably relax a little bit. Then we're going to bake your birthday cake. And I called and asked you what kind of cake you wanted, and you said chocolate. So we're going to bake a chocolate devil's food cake. And then we're going to make caramel popcorn for tonight, because we're going to watch movies tonight. So you got to have caramel popcorn. And when Paw gets home, what are we doing?
We're going to the party.
We are going to take Bella May shopping so she can buy things for her birthday. And then we're going to go to Sonic and get what? Chili dogs, because that's Bella's favorite. So it's going to be a great birthday for Bella. So today is officially Bella May Day. All right, let's make this cake. So I need for you to take this and just empty it into here. Okay. And now I want you to take those 3 eggs. Come over here and go ahead and crack those into this bowl. That way it'll be easy to pull shells out if you accidentally get shells in there.
There's one.
you get any shells in it?
Let's try that one now.
This one?
Yep, this is tiny little one.
Okay. Now go ahead and pour that in there. And then take that, which has 1 cup of water and 1/2 cup of oil, and go ahead and slide that in there. Perfect. Now, we put the go ahead and take that lever. Here, I got it. Take that lever that's on the side. Wait a minute. There's a lever. Pull it towards this way, and then it'll drop this down. Let it go. Now, on the side where those knob is, that's blue, take it to number 2. And we'll just let that mix. Now we can go ahead and get that poured. You want to go ahead and pour that in that pan that I've already sprayed with oil so that it won't stick. And then we will bake this for about 25 to 30 minutes. All right, now let's make the glaze for our cake. So instead of putting frosting on this cake, we are going to glaze it. So we're just going to take some powdered sugar and we're going to start adding a little bit of water. Go ahead and start adding it just a little bit because that's it for right now. Okay, add a little bit more, just a couple of drops because it doesn't really take much. A little bit more. There you go. And then we're just going to keep mixing this a little bit more. And we're just making this into a glaze. Just a tad bit more. Perfect. I think that's all we need. We're just going to mix this around. I think we might add just a little bit more.
You have to get the whole cake.
Yeah. Okay. More water. Okay, that's good. And I think that's good because we don't want it runny. We want it thick because what's going to happen, I'm going to pull that cake from the oven, and while it is still hot, we are going to pour this over the top. So let me grab this cake out of the oven. Be really, really careful because it's going to get really hot. I'm going to set it right there where that was. Okay, so put this here. And let me grab a small one. Okay, and then do you want to do this or do you want me to do it?
I'll do lots of it.
Okay, and you're just going to, well, let me just show you. Then I'll tell you what, I'll drizzle it and then you just kind of smear it all over the cake. We're just going to pour this over this hot cake because what's going to happen is it's just going to melt down into that cake. And the top of it's going to have a nice glaze on it. Let me have this for a second. Let me scrape this bowl.
Yeah, but you can't miss all that.
Okay, and then...
Like I can hear the steam.
Yeah, now you can just take that and go all the way around the cake. That's perfect. And you do that while that cake is still hot because as you can see, it's melting that.
And it's like making it a little bit shiny.
Yeah, and it's going to just seep down into that cake. And then the whole top is going to have this really nice glaze left once it cools down. Looks good. So now we are going to make caramel popcorn. I was going to make a big batch of this, but I only had a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. So I'm going to have to cut this recipe in half. So what I'm going to need is you're going to need a bowl to mix it all in. You're going to have oil. So I'm going to spray this pan or this bowl, and I will spray this mat with that oil so that the caramel doesn't stick to it. I've got a half a cup of brown sugar. I've got some vanilla, some light corn syrup, and some baking soda, and 1 bag of popcorn. So this corn syrup, I'll probably use a 1/4 cup, half cup, a splash, and a teaspoon of this. So let's go ahead and get this caramel started. I forgot to add in the other video, you also were going to need a half a stick of butter, which I have in this pan. So I'm going to take this half stick of butter, this half cup of brown sugar, and this 1/4 cup of white Karo syrup. I'm going to empty that, and I'm going to melt this all, and then I'm going to bring this to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, we're going to boil that, stirring constantly for 5 minutes. Bella is putting the popcorn in a bowl, and like I said, I sprayed this bowl with oil, and she's, instead of just emptying the popcorn in there, she's doing it by the handful, so that way she can make sure that there is no popcorn kernels in this. Now, as you can see, the caramel is boiling now, so I want to keep stirring this, and I'm going to keep doing this for 5 minutes. Now that our caramel has done cooking for 5 minutes, I'm going to take it off of the burner, and I'm going to take a vanilla, and I'm just going to put just a tad bit in there and give that a stir. And then I'm going to take about a half a teaspoon of baking soda and put it in this caramel. And then this caramel is going to start foaming. So I'm just going to stir this. And as you can see, it's all foamy. And it is ready to pour on the popcorn now. Okay, now this is really, really hot. But what we're going to do now is we're going to start drizzling this caramel in this bowl. And Bella, go ahead and start mixing that. We'll do a little bit at a time. And I also sprayed that spatula with nonstick spray. And we're just going to keep pouring and mixing until all these kernels are completely coated with this caramel. Okay, that's mixed up, and now I am going to spray this mat with oil. And Bella, will you go ahead and just pour that onto the mat? It's okay, we can get it. And what I like to do now, sometimes you will get a little bit of kernels in here that haven't popped. If I see any, I'm going to go ahead and pull those out. Let me see this spatula for a minute, and I'm just going to kind of lay this out flat. And basically, it just sits here on this mat until it cools. Now, you can put this in the oven at 200 and bake this, turning it every 10-15 minutes. And what that does is it will bake that caramel onto that popcorn, so you have like a hard what am I trying to say? A hard caramel. But we don't like it that way. We like a chewy caramel, and so that's why we do not bake it. We let it set out and cool on its own at room temperature, and it remains chewy. Okay, for Bella's birthday lunch, we're making her a walking taco. So we're going to take a bag of Fritos. We're going to cut it across. Will you grab that part? Just that. Across the top, like that. And open this up. We're going to add taco meat in there. Let me grab, where'd that spoon go? Here it is. Put some taco meat in here. She doesn't want any lettuce or tomatoes or anything like that. So we're just doing taco meat, a little Taco Bell sauce. Tell me how much you want.
That's it.
And then we're going to add some cheese to this.
Oh.
Got a piece of cheese on your birthday cake. That probably would not taste very good.
One more in there.
Yeah, I'll get that one in just a second. Let's get that out. And here you have a Frito walking taco. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Bella May. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, B.
Happy 14th.
Love you.
Make a wish and blow out your candles. Woo! Look at that. And we are now winding down Bella's birthday day with pajamas or caramel popcorn and a movie. How would you rate today's day?
Probably the best day ever.
The best day ever. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Happy 14th birthday, Bella May.